Last time on building a main, we got 4 99s and we made a bunch of progress towards the quest cape. And in this episode, we're going to kick things off with doing a little bit of PVM, which is why I'm picking up and augmenting a Noxious Scythe. As for where we got the money for a Noxious Scythe, well, part of it was from Nex, and the other part was that there was a massive surge in price of runes. Unfortunately, this was after I had sold all the ones from the month of dailies, but we still cashed in a bit on the 400 GP water runes. This surge in price of runes was the final kick up the butt I needed to get on that rune crafting grind. So I started occasionally doing rune crafting runs, I'm doing bloods, and we're still missing a few things like the Mauritania legs to make this really good, but we still got nearly 5,000 in an hour. And while this only looks like 11 mil profit, it's actually a bit more than that because blood runes at the time were selling for nearly 2,300 GP. And of course, one of the first improvements I made to my blood runs was getting the Abyssal Gatestone. This gives you the Nexus mod power, which means that when you enter the Abyss, you enter in the center instead of in a random location around the outside.
Okay, since we are now killing Nex relatively consistently, we're starting to pick up the pace. It kind of doesn't make sense to keep using our raptor buff on a boss we can kill quite easily. So it's time to look elsewhere. And for that, I am going to attempt to clear up to Ambassador in the Shadow Reef. I don't know if I'm going to be able to manage it. I've never fought Terracott on any character before. But I was able to learn Nex relatively quickly, so I should assume I wouldn't have too much issue learning Terracott. I'm not going to go in there and expect to one-shot him, but we should be able to at least get one kill and at least get past him so that when we get our raptor buff tomorrow, we can go and dart Ambassador. No idea if that will end up paying off, but for now, let's just work our way through here.
However, before we even got to Terracott, we first had to get through the Crassian Leviathan, which the first time ended like this.
Okay, that took a couple tries to get used to his animations, but that is the first of the two bosses down. Crassian Leviathan done. So next up, we gotta continue more trash and then on to the Necromancer.
So the game plan at Terracott is to use the Vampirism aura and a Scrimshaw of Vampirism with a halberd weapon, preferably a scythe, so that when you AoE down the skeletons, you heal up a ton. The first time you end up fighting this guy, it's kind of an endurance race, so I brought a yak full of food, and I went through the lot. But
we got him first try. Blackstone hearts. Aren't those a little bit rare? Okay, now I just need to re-gear up and kill the trash to the Ambassador.
So having made it all the way to the Ambassador, got on our dart, got our Raptor's Rampage buff, we're feeling really, really lucky. Never mind. So the drop rate for a crossbow piece is 1 in 55 when you're soloing, so even with Raptor's Rampage, it's pretty unlikely to actually get anything from just a couple darts.
In an attempt to make our next ED3 run a little smoother, I'm gonna try and get Enhanced Devoted on my Bandos set. There it is. We got it. That was actually our third try. And we got 99 Invention. There we go. That's the Invention skill cape, which gives us charge drain reduction when we wear it. We'll probably just throw this on Anachronia until we get the defense skill cape. But yeah, Enhanced Devoted 4, very useful in ED3 because there's a bunch of places where you have to protect range on the bridge, whatever you're protecting in Terracott. Should save a bit of food there. As for why I'm not doing the same as range and buying better armor before using these augments, Masterwork is a lot more expensive than Ceramic, and I probably won't have it for a while. Okay, it wasn't any quicker. It was basically the exact same kill time. But Terracott is down, and we have a lot more food this time, so improvement. Okay, so I'm gonna need rumbling components, and my plan of just doing some raids for Techie kind of fell through. I'm just gonna ignore raids until after the series, I think. So the next best approach is a Dragor. We augment a Dragor rapier, we get it up to level 9, we disassemble it, and we get 20 rumbling components. We only need 2 for an alchemical hydrix, but the 18 left over lets us then make 9 more alchemical hydrixes in the future without having to worry about it. And I also decided to grab a Dragor offhand. Now, the mace main hand has a prayer bonus, but the offhands are all basically identical, so I just went with a rapier because it was the one that bought the cheapest. And yeah, the plan is to keep the offhand because we need an offhand for when we're fighting demons with Darklight. And I feel really bad for anyone that's buying these rabbits. Okay, and the plan to just level this up is basically to just use melee wherever I can, such as this Reaper task for Krill. Okay, we just got the complete collection at Krill. We got gloves earlier in the trip, and we finally see the Steam Battle Staff drop. So we have a full Krill collection now. So we get the title Brawn of a Suteroff, which I'm actually going to put on after this. Okay, so to get 99 Herblore, I need to make about 10,000 Saradomin brews. Now, I don't want to sit there and make 10,000 unfinished potions. We are going to boost our invention and make a partial potion producer, which we can put our Toflex and our Vials of Water into, and they will just, over the course of the next 10 days or so, make us 10,000 Toflex unfinished. It's not as gold efficient because we're not getting any Scroll of Cleansing procs or any bonuses from a portable well. However, 10,000 unfinished potions is about 5 hours, and the amount of gold we can make in 5 hours, say blood rune crafting, way more than the difference in price here. I need to still get the gold together to actually buy 7,000 more clean toad flags, but that can come soon. We're going to start working on our next AFK project for when Archeology is finished. We're closing in on 99 Archeology, which will be my breaking point for now. And to do that, we're perking up a Crystal Hammer with Tinker 4 and Rapid 4. So the plan is to smith Elder Rune something to +5, and then either alch it or sell it on the Grand Exchange, depending on what gives us more money. It'll either be about a 20 mil loss to get 99, or it will be a bunch of profit. I doubt it's going to be a bunch of profit. I really doubt people are buying Elder Rune shields, longswords, helms, or whatever for 1 mil GP or more. And the reason why we're limiting it to those is I want to do the 2-bar items because you can just fill up your inventory with those and just kind of AFK with an auto heater, and it's pretty efficient. It's not the most efficient XP per hour, but it's super AFK, and for doing it in the time I would normally be doing Archeology, just having it going on a phone or something, pure AFK is perfect. So I got 64 Elder Rune bars. I'm going to start by making a shield +5, see if it sells. If it doesn't sell, well, then I'll probably actually end up keeping it because that'll be our new shield for shield switches. Okay, it's the moment of truth time. I've already made one and sold one shield +5, which is why I went and made 25 more. But now I need to hope that these actually sell. So attempt to try and find out their price and sell them off. Okay, so slow selling something like this gonna take a really long time, so I just insta sold them. We got nearly 39 mil back, which is that's profit from smithing. And this wasn't particularly slow. I would need to do that 3 more times for 99, and we made it costs 1600 Elder Rune bars, and we obviously saved some from the scroll, so that cost us 22 mil in Elder Rune bars, and we made 38 mil, so that's 16 mil profit. That level of profit while training a skill that's normally seen as a money drain is really good. Hopefully I don't saturate the shield market making another 70 odd of those. Okay, so we're almost finished with our next 15 shields, and we finally got 100% respect again, so we can pick up the restocking cannon. I've been avoiding using cannon and coil on Slayer tasks out of pure laziness, just not wanting to deal with restocking a 30 ammo cannon, and now we don't need to worry about it. We just have the cannonballs in our inventory, and it just automatically restocks. This is great, basically, anytime you want to use a cannon. It's kind of incredible that at 137 combat, you can get a giant mole reaper task.
This is what our MTX tab basically looks like, and there's a ton of proteins here. The plan is that I'm not really going to be using that many of these. I'm going to try and convert most of them, if not all of them, to protein shakes, which might sound weird given that I've already laid out the plan for using Saradomin brews to get 99 Herblore, but the plan is to use them post 99. That way, they'll still be very useful to me, but they'll have less impact on our maxing journey going forward.
Okay, we are done converting, and we now have 10,000 protein shakes. There we go, 11,333. We'll save those away until we get 99 Herblore, and then, yeah, we'll just use them with either the knowledge bombs or on double XP, if that's coming soon. I get the feeling these lamps are going to give me, yep, there it is, 99 Dungeoneering. I don't think I've gone into a dungeon since I had to farm out the Charming Imp and the Bone Crusher. But let's go grab our cape. Okay, here is the Dungeoneering Cape. This is actually one of the capes I have on my OG pre-EOC character, and I was actually really proud of it because I did it mostly solo. The perk of this one is actually super useful in a utility sense. It's a bunch of teleports to all the resource dungeons, which are generally really out of the way and hard to get to. So for stuff like clues, it's really useful. If you have a Slayer task for a certain monster in a certain dungeon, really easy to get there. Way easier to get to places like Brimhaven dragons, all that kind of stuff. Okay, our first set of dragons have grown to Elder. Let's see how much we get per dragon. 100k per dragon. So I put 10 of these in, which means this is a mil XP. So I'm gonna just have these breed instead of buying new ones because they're relatively expensive. Although they take so long to grow that the breed cost as or the breed time as a percentage of their growth time is basically negligible. So I'm just gonna pick out like the 6 best ones and just put them in as breeders. I was so excited about getting the 1 mil XP. I didn't even notice we got brains from one of those. Sweet. Okay, so we are back on some tasks, and we have completed the easy and the medium tasks in the Mauritania task set. So normally people do this to go all the way for the hard set and get the XP buff at Vias, which I believe is even bigger if you go for the elites. For us, we just care about Mauritania Legs 2 for now because one of the perks is that when you wear these, you have a 10% chance to create an extra blood rune per essence. And that blood rune gives the same XP as a normal blood rune. So it's a 10% XP buff when crafting blood runes and a 10% profit buff. So this will be replacing our rune crafting legs, which loses us 2%, so it only ends up working out like an 8% increase. But that's still really good for tasks that take like 40 minutes to do. Now we're done with dungeoneering. The lamps are all going to be going into woodcutting. It's the slowest skill, and it's so boring to train. Even as an AFK, it requires just enough attention to not be like archaeology or mining or fishing where you can just AFK for 5 minutes straight. Yeah, I'm gonna be just lamping woodcutting as far as it can go. Okay, so it's time to look at 48 minutes of blood rune crafting. We got this many of each, so I'm going to scale that up to an hour, which would be 7,592 bloods, 20 threads, and bloods are still selling for 2,200 if you slow sell them right now. Which means minus the 100 for the essence is 2,100 per blood. And these threads sell for 250 to 260k if you slow sell them. So I'll say 250k, keep it on the low end. So you get 20 threads in an hour and 7.5k bloods. It's nearly 21 mil profit an hour. And I don't even have a massive pouch. All I know is that forget woodcutting for now. Lamps, penguins, troll invasion, all that stuff is going into runecrafting, and we are getting 90 for that massive pouch.
So the treasure hunter event at this time was giving out aura refreshes, which is simultaneously one of the most useful things you can get from treasure hunter and the least gameplay warping, because all it means is less waiting around for auras, which is a good thing. And the way I took advantage of this was by doing every single quest I possibly could that was as short as possible. So here is a lot of short quests.
And that is the Prisoner of Glaufri complete. So this quest actually kind of sets up a bunch of stuff. It was released in 2011, so 12 years ago now. And it just all abruptly ends here. I wonder if they're ever going to revisit this. Unfortunately, it's a 5th age story. It might be age agnostic, but I believe it's a 5th age story, so there's probably little chance we go back to it. But it would be nice to in the future. Okay, definitely not procrastinating from quests, but I decided to do the Petra Compasses that I had in the bank. So we had 6. Let's see what we got. So I think we actually got pretty lucky with the tomes there. We got 9 from 6. So half of them had 2 in. Maybe not that lucky. Guess maybe that's average. Not sure if it's 50-50. But these actually give so much XP. They're like 40. Yeah, you can see 41k each tome at our level. So 9 of them, 360k XP. Starting to close in on that 99. I just noticed flicking through all the new relics that are now clogging up the bank. I didn't really think that through when I did the Petra Compasses. They give so much XP, I get kind of distracted by that. But we actually have the Malcolm pet in our bank. I have no idea when I got this. Absolutely no idea. It must have been when I siphoned something. Malcolm pet, is that Jack of Trades yet? Or how many pets do we have? So we have farming, fletching, invention, attack, strength, constitution, ranged, and archaeology. Okay, I just got done restoring all the artifacts I had saved up in my bank, specifically the Dragonkin 1 artifacts, which got us pretty close to 99 actually. We're only 400k off. So once we get that, we'll be putting archaeology on ice, probably for the remainder of this series. Okay, I had to call my next trip a bit short, unfortunately, but while I was out, I was doing some archaeology on the phone and got to 99, which is where we're going to be ending it off here. So the plan to continue further is to just go to the next Dragonkin spot and do the same thing I've done at the past 2. Just excavate it until I get about 40 to 50 of each artifact, and then restore a bunch of them. Complete the Dragonkin collection and use the crew notes to buy the Master Archaeologist outfit. I'm still quite a bit off of the Guildmaster achievement, though. I need a ton more restorations. I need to actually go back and complete collections that I've skipped in favor of kind of power leveling. But yeah, once we're done here, we can go and grab our cape. Okay, here is the Archeology skill cape, and it is basically like the magic skill cape. It lets you modify your relic powers at a bank, same way the mage cape lets you change spellbook. And it provides a buff if you're following the sprite around, the time sprite. Maybe worth doing if you stack it with the Pontifex Signet Ring, but to be honest, I AFK Archeology so hard, there's absolutely no chance of that becoming useful to us, but the relic powers at banks could be useful. As for what I'm going to do with my AFK time now, we're going to be doing fishing as our AFK, and to make it as AFK as possible, I'm going to do swarm fishing. It's not the fastest XP. I think it caps out at like 120k per hour or like 98. Not very good XP wise, but it's so AFK that the just amount of time I can just have it running on my phone without paying attention to it will completely make up for the difference in XP rates. Chuck on some porters and you end up banking a bunch of sailfish, blue blubbers, and we can sell those for quite a bit of profit. Not a huge amount of profit. Porters are currently about 700 GP a charge to use. The fish are nearly 3k, so that's fine. Actually, I think sailfish raw are like 5k. So that's all fine. I'm not going to use the auto cook relic because the cook stuff is less expensive for some reason. Yeah, so that's the plan there. I'm going to just AFK swarm fishing. There's not going to be many clips talking about it. You're kind of just going to see the fishing level go up over time. It's really boring. You just sit there and click the swarm every time your net catches. That's it. Job done. I'll show the inventory when we actually get it all set up and started. But there's really not much to it.
And that's where we're going to be wrapping things up this episode. Quite a high variety episode, a lot of PVM, bit of skilling, some quests, but we're really starting to get our ducks in a row to just knock everything out and finish up the series in the coming few weeks. As always, if you got to this part of the video, I'm going to assume you liked it. If so, you know what to do. And I hope you all have a wonderful week until I see you again next time.